let's also quickly just flip to Abuja. We've got Mr. Kacho Ononuju, who is a member of the PDP. Well, Mr. Ononuju, thank you for joining us today. Well, we've just heard states not living up to the billing, states owing salaries, even local governments who also receive their own components of that fund not paying teachers. What's going on?
Well, that's because we are where we are, and as you can remember, the last time I came here, I said we needed some quality of accounting. So far, the democracy has seen us all dealing initially with the politics, but now we need to, as Mr. Bandele was trying to stress, get into the economic specifics. A man will run for elections, but he does not have the economic wherewithal to not only understand the economic needs of governance, but also the economic applications that he needs to implement to actually bring the dividends to the people. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about governing, but it's also governing to bring dividend and to make people feel that you've come there to serve their good. And that's where we are. So for me, it's because, one, the politics is not working. That's why we're saying allow a liberalization of this power structuring so that the states will be able to actually answer for themselves. Not everybody blaming Abuja, coming to Abuja every day to be spoon-fed. That is wrong. If a man wants to run as governor of a particular state, he probably has the records of that state, and he knows what to tell you. He said, look, this is what I'm coming to do, and if I get here, this is what I think this state has, and this is how I'm going to utilize those logistics I've seen in the state, and this is how I'll bring you the benefits that you should have as the man who elected me to work to bring these advantages to you. But no, the man who runs for office, he gets in there and he's spoon-fed. And that's why we said, why should Abuja dictate everything for the people? So there's something, it's not proper. You cannot spoon-feed 180 million people. Allow them to plan for themselves in small caucuses, in this case, in small units in their states, what they want for themselves. Let them hold responsible those that run elections to govern them.
Let's give an example.
When they become governors, they will start looking up to Abuja.
All right, let me...
this is the problem.
Let me bring this in because now, yes, the funds belong to them, but they've been given these funds. And then people say, for instance, now, two states come into play here. In Delta, you have those who are complaining that they owe their old salaries, even though they received the bailout funds, they've not paid some salaries. Some pensioners too have a thing or two to say. We had a guest who spoke to that as well. And then the NLC picked up that of Zamfara, saying they happen to be a state, they've not even implemented the minimum wage, although they received their own bailout funds. So they ran for office, they've been given these funds, they've not used it for what they've said, as some others have said. So what then should the people do?
Good. In particular, about the case of Delta, I actually picked that because we were looking at all the states. In Delta, as I speak to you right now, the government does not own a cent, 1 kobo of net salary to anybody. Delta State has paid out everything that aid should pay to everybody. The October salaries were actually paid 3 days ago. So I think the gentleman who spoke probably didn't have the fact as at now. He probably was advised before the people got paid. Delta has also utilized its own bailout fund. Let me read to you. In the first tranches paid in December 2016, Delta got 14.5 billion. Then Delta also, in the second tranche, it got 8.9 billion. In the third tranche, it got 10 billion and other things. Now, Delta has, as at this moment, spent on salaries and pensions 46% of what it took. Delta has also paid on capital projects 53.4%. of all that it got. So if you look at that, this is what we're saying. Some people got this money, but did not utilize them properly for how they should be given. Delta, don't forget, is a state that also looks after some people who are actually not in his data. A lot of what goes on in Onitsha.
Yeah, Mr. Nanoju, just a quick one before you move on.
And these things are also taken into.
I see you reading from somewhere. What's the source of your information?
Oh, this is the state-by-state report where we're looking at all the states, what they have spent, and we go to them to ask them, what have you spent? Can we just see the figures so that we'll be able to quote these figures and also have those who do not agree with you actually react to them?
Who are we in this case?
Figures from Delta. So, and when I asked specifically, what about your salaries? They said, yes, they have made 2 billion naira contribution towards their pension scheme, but on salary, they don't owe nothing. As at this moment, Delta owes nobody a cent, which I've also cross-checked with the workers. They told me that their October salary was paid 3 days ago.
Okay,
so that is that, and we're inside November. We have data for quite a lot of states. The problem is a lot of these states collect this money, but they don't actually use them for what they should use them for. And this is where the problem is. So if Delta as a state and a case study does not owe 1 naira of net salary to anybody, then you cannot compare it to some other states that seem to be owing in the excesses of 10 months salary.
Mr. Cash.
This is the problem, because as we're now getting into the election season, we will be able to ask governors, what have you done? What did you use the Parry Club reforms to do? What did you use the salary bailout money to do? What did you do with all that? Because you can say, yes, there's a recession, but the Parry Club reform, the salary bailout money, and all that were given specifically for them to use to do this. And that's why we've been going from state to ask, how have you applied this? We want the figures so that when we publish these figures from the Heritage Center, your people who say they don't agree can come and actually bring their own reactions to these figures. And as far as I'm speaking to you right now, you can make a call back home, because we spoke to quite a lot of workers, and they said, yes, they are not owed any net salary in Delta State. And I asked, what about the other emoluments? And I found out that Delta contributed 2 billion naira towards pension scheme. So
Mr. Cash,
this is going
Mr.
on.
Cash,
that is different from some other states where
if I may just come in here
to actually write to
if I may just step in here.
A strong percentage of the pensions that they are owed. I believe a worker deserves his wages. But, and we've advised that most governors should not go that part. If you do not have the money and you're willing to pay somebody 50% of what you owe him, let it be on paper that you still owe him 50%
Mr.
after
Cash,
paying him 50%.